Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have an incredible guest for you tonight. Frank Santoyo is the brand new Vice President of North America. And so we're going to get to know him a little bit better tonight. So Frank, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy, for having me. It's a real pleasure for me to be able to connect with you once again after several years. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. I've had an opportunity to meet with a few different groups, and I'm excited to be able to share a little bit about my background, my history, kind of how we got to this point, and also a view and a vision for the future. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to just start giving a little bit of a bio and a background so people know kind of what I've been doing here in the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. Before you do that, tell us before you even got to ASEA, why did you come to ASEA? How did ASEA come into your life?
Yeah, so there was a series of members that there was a buzz. This is back in 2009. And so at the time, Virtus was very heavily involved. There was a large group of the organization that, are now considered the founders that were starting to be active with the company. So Virtus was around, Jerem was very heavily involved, and we had done some work together in the past, and Karen Riley. So there was a large number of members that were with the organization at the time that really encouraged me to take this next move. The product was very interesting to me at the time. There was a huge buzz around what this product was and what it could do. So that's what excited me about coming to the organization. Back when I started too, Cindy, it's worth mentioning that there was about maybe 11, 12 call center employees at the time. So when I was asked to come manage that team, it seemed very feasible and simple for me to come and kind of give some oversight and support that way.
Okay, so, and I know you're going to tell us a little bit because you traveled through a lot of departments to the position that you're in now, but why have you stuck around for 12 years? What makes ASEA so special, and why, I mean, there's so many companies out there. Why have you stuck with ASEA for 12 years?
Yeah, good question. There's been a couple of different things that have really been important to me throughout my career. And one of them is obviously doing something that's meaningful. And the second thing is the people you work with. So I've had an opportunity to work with some incredible folks at the organization here within ASEA that have really left a print in who I am as a person. In addition to that, not to mention the product that we have in front of us and the lives that we've been able to change. When people talk about Virtus sharing some of these letters and things like that of people that have had personal experiences, I remember reading those letters firsthand as he was sitting in his office. So it's been really meaningful and really significant for me to be a part of something where I truly value the impact we're having globally, and obviously being able to do that with people that you have the utmost respect for. So combination of those things.
What about culture? I know ethics and culture are a big thing at ASEA.
Yeah, huge.
Is that part of the vibe you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. The culture, I've been a part of other network marketing companies in the past. I've been with other organizations. And one of the things that really stood out to me about ASEA throughout these years, and that I am now a huge part of, is the culture component. When we talk about culture, we talk about really doing the right thing for humanity, really pushing forward to make a difference, to change lives, to be able to really have an impact on those around us, whether that's through providing a business opportunity or a life-changing product. So for me, that's been really, really important, and something that ASEA has provided throughout all these years in my career. So
when you were brought in and asked to manage the call center, I'm sure the call center has a lot of interaction with the field, and so I'm sure you had a lot of talks with them about how, about who we are and how we treat each other, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had an opportunity to meet beautiful people like yourself throughout this process, and a lot of folks that I'm reconnecting with after so many years. So it's been an incredible journey, but that's just it. It's been the ability to understand the needs from the field, the relationship and expectation, and how we can best support this journey that I think everybody is embarked in at the time. So now you worked managing the call center for a while, and then somehow you moved over to the finance department, didn't you? Yeah. So it's an interesting story there. As I started, one of my passions has always been people and working with people and people development. To whatever capacity I've been able to leverage that. We can kind of go back and forth a little bit with the bio, but my background, my undergraduate is actually in organizational psychology. So I wanted to pursue that. That was a passion of mine at the time. And so as I started doing training and development, there was a need at the organization to find somebody that could oversee the compensation plan, ASEA's compensation plan, and be able to run ASEA's commission engine that pays out every week. And so they thought to themselves, well, who better than the person who trains about it every single week to be able to manage this? And so that's where the opportunity to move into finance came from. And you're right, I was offered to move into a finance position where over time, as years progressed, I was able to grow the department, the responsibilities and the expectation. So as time went on, I moved into a treasury role, which oversaw more of the organization. So that included banking services, so credit card processing, an internal fraud department, the commission department, in addition to all other banking relationships and opening up new accounts whenever we went internationally into a new market. So very heavily involved on the financial side.
Fantastic. So when you said you trained the compensation plan, were you training the associate support division on how the compensation plan worked?
Yeah, at the time we were actually a lot, as I mentioned, a lot smaller. And so I was actually the corporate trainer for anybody who wanted to be onboarded on compensation plan, knowledge and just an understanding. So it was kind of a twofold component. The first was obviously talking about the compensation plan and making sure they felt comfortable with the ASEA's compensation plan. But in addition to that, also the cultural component that you mentioned, right? Making sure that they understood kind of the dynamic, the very unique and special dynamic that we had with our field leadership and we continue to have today.
So let's just talk a little bit about the compensation plan, since that's one of your areas of expertise. So I was just asked today, doesn't our compensation plan pay, infinite width because of the sponsorship tree and infinite depth because of the binary tree? I mean, we've got a very unique compensation plan. Do you want to talk about how that fits into the industry of network marketing?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the compensation plan is, it has been designed and has been promoted to ensure that people have endless capability to expand and grow it. So what that means is that, yes, there is no limitation to your width. As far as you want to build in your sponsorship tree, you can go as wide as you have the capacity to, and also leverage all of that benefit through the volume and some of these other pools that we've established over time. So as you grow your business, ASEA's compensation plan will support that process as well. We have several different ways to earn within it. We've talked a little bit high level about check match that you can leverage. We talk about EMP pool, the diamond pool as well, are the ways that you can support that with as you go through it. And when we talk about the depth of your organization, then we look more into the team commission component and obviously fast start as you continue to actively recruit and continue to build your organization that way.
Yeah, fantastic. So, the people, the culture, the support team, the comp plan and making sure we get our paychecks on time and that our paychecks are accurate. And we certainly appreciate that. And so now you've moved into this role of VP of North America. So how is that changing what you do and why was that a good fit for you?
Yeah. I've occupied various roles within the organization that have helped me leverage an overall understanding of the business and the needs for our associate base. So when I talk from a finance perspective, I'm also talking about the operational component of finance. So I'm tightly and closely integrated with IT and a lot of the projects and integrations. I manage and oversaw all of the compensation plan analysis. All of the financial planning was also housed under my department. In addition to that, I work closely with marketing on initiatives as they continue to roll out promotions and things like that. So, I dare say that there's probably not a lot of areas of the business that I didn't have an involvement in to some extent. And so to now be able to put all of that knowledge, all of that institutional knowledge and understanding in front of our associate base to be able to leverage and help all of you develop your business just seemed like the right fit and the perfect time for us to be able to embark in this journey. So that's really what it came down to. In addition to that, as I mentioned, I have a very, very high respect and value for our leadership. When we talk about our executive team, I mean, that is a group of individuals that for somebody that's come, that has a lot of interaction outside of the industry. I work a lot with banking institutions and different reputable businesses outside of the network marketing space along with it. And I could recognize, and I've identified over time when I talk to Tyler, when I talk to Chuck, Scott and Dave, that's a group of individuals that comes with a lot of knowledge, whether you're inside of the industry or outside of it. It's very, very high profile type of knowledge. So I always value that, and I'm happy to be able to embark and work in this journey collaborating with them as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic that we have such a partnership between the corporate team and, the field team. We certainly couldn't do our work without you, and I don't think your company would get very far without us. So it's a great partnership. We certainly appreciate everything you do to support us.
Yeah, thank you. And the feeling is absolutely mutual. I've been in the background. I've always been here. I never left. I haven't left, but I certainly have not been in the forefront of the position that I get to be in now. And so I'm excited to be a part of this, to be able to just really take a lot of the throughout the years. One thing that I've learned being sort of in the background and kind of orchestrating a lot of what's going on is you identify a lot of the areas where we're highly efficient and some of the areas where we could be better. So I hope to bring that knowledge, that understanding, and leverage those relationships and understanding of the business to be able to continue to optimize that for all of us. When I say all of us, I mean the collaboration of the organization, and when I think of the organization, one of the thoughts that keeps coming to mind over and over, we are all part of ASEA as an organization. I'm not the organization, and neither is our field leadership. It's a collaboration of the two. We are headquarters and the headquarter building, but this is absolutely a partnership of this organization. So excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, so what we do is not easy. Network marketing is a very misunderstood business model, as that's what I've seen anyway. And, the product is certainly something that's never been done before. And so, talk about how we're going to move into the future. We've come a long way, and we certainly have a long way to go. There's all kinds of restrictions that that we have, and rules that we have to follow, and in building our business. But talk about where you see us going in the future. As far as, we've got a global business, but we've got incredible opportunity in North America, right?
Yeah, certainly. I've been in this seat for 2 weeks almost now. So it's been a very short time with a lot of download mode, as I've been calling it, just trying to make sure that I capture all the information possible from all the areas. But when we talk about some of the opportunities, or as you mentioned, it certainly can present its challenges. But when you have a product that continues to be cutting edge, even for its time, with organizations that attempt to replicate and duplicate some of the things that we've been doing for 13 years, and they still can't do it, and they won't be able to do it. There's a lot of patents, and sort of we've ensured that we put the proper parameters in place to protect ourselves as we continue to go forward. So there's the product advantage, if you will, where our flagship product ARS ASEA redox signaling continues to be a flagship product for us because of its high value, and in terms of the benefits and some of the as I mentioned, the patented technology that it has, very, very cutting edge. And so we can leverage that. That's the number one thing. Number two, our compensation plan continues to be extremely lucrative and beneficial for people who want to pursue the business aspect of it. So that right there gives you the two tools that are going to really drive for success. As we talk about international and some of these restrictions are removed, one of the benefits that we have here in North America is that the restrictions have changed and lessened for us. So it yields for an opportunity for us to do some of these interactions face to face and be able to have these conversations. We've talked about during a time where there's where we've had some financial challenges as a country, really as a globe, due to some of the inflation and some of the things we've seen. So people are looking for opportunities where they can capitalize and have that additional income and leverage different things. So what better way to do it than by having a product that can have a real legitimate impact in front of people and be able to also provide some financial benefits to you along the way.
Yeah, and we've expanded our product line. And so that, gives people multiple doorways that they can enter through to, kind of understand this whole area of redox that we brand ourselves with, right? Do you see
Yes.
the product line continuing to expand? I mean, we absolutely love the new Cell Performance products, and I absolutely love the new skincare line. It's fantastic.
Yeah, my wife would absolutely agree with you 100%. And she's a person that's an online shopper that's always looking for different types of cosmetics that can help provide benefits to her skin. So for her to say that, I have my own little research or critic at home. But yeah, I mean, the idea is to continue to leverage and widen the product line over time, add new products that will continue to be cutting edge in their delivery and also provide a competitive advantage for our associate base. The other thing in addition to that we're really targeting is how do we widen the demographic of our product consumption? How do we ensure that a wide range of people are able to reap the benefits of this product? So you couple Cell Performance with ARS, and as you drink your ARS, it enables for your cells to really absorb the benefits of Cell Performance. And so really cool and interesting stuff happening, right? We obviously know the benefits of Renew 28 as well from a topical perspective. So having all that product line is really trying to bring a holistic perspective for a wide array of people and consumption. We live in an era where we continue to see people be more conscious of the products they consume and the ingredients that they consume with it. And so I know in my house, there's no artificial ingredients on anything or natural ingredients on anything. It has to be outlined what it is. And so those sort of things are starting to become more and more relevant and important for people. And this product line that ASEA provides all of those benefits.
So let's talk a little bit about IT. I mean, the world is changing so fast, and to keep up with all the, with everything is a huge job with, shipping and inflation and, explaining and communication and relationships and all this kind of stuff. But I know that our IT is really moving from an antiquated state into a more, less clicks and easier, more intuitive way of shopping, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The idea is to create the least amount of friction is what we call it, right? Friction for the consumer. You go to certain websites and certain organizations that'll have a very simplistic approach and way to be able to complete your order. One of the biggest challenges that we experience in this space is how do you leverage technology while it's still adhering to some of the requirements and guidelines? Right. So when I go to Amazon, I don't have to be affiliated in terms of a placement on the tree. I'm not running a business per se, right? I'm simply a consumer that can do the one-click buy and it gets shipped to my house and I have it here tomorrow. So there's a little bit of additional layers of complexity that happen in this space because you have to talk about sponsorship, placement at times. And so we're trying to navigate a balance between the two to really try and simplify and provide the best experience to all of our consumers and users and associate business builders as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that, yeah, because we have to comply with the FTC, we have to comply with the FDA, we have to, see if people want to be customers or if they want to be associates. But yeah, the easier we can make that, the easier all of our jobs will be, right?
Yeah, and one other thing I want to add to that, Cindy, I think you kind of hit it on the head, but there's in addition to all of those layers that you just mentioned, there's also the international component, where when you talk about a global business that operates in 33 markets, it has different regulations to adhere to depending on the country, sometimes by region and sometimes by currency. So navigating through all of that, it's a tremendous effort that our corporate team does to put this stuff together. I could spend hours talking about simply just the complexities of the compensation plan and the commission engine calculation that happens, in a week. Just like that, the turnaround time for us to be able to execute payments is a very, very short window. I can have the same conversation about logistics and shipping and delivery and getting product overseas and into some of those regions. So tremendous effort. But I think everybody from the corporate side understands the higher, bigger mission of this, the impact that this product can have and does have on thousands of people, and to be able to also provide an opportunity, why not, to those who are pursuing it.
Yeah, I know recently we just opened, we didn't open China as a market, but we have a way to get the product to consumers in the Chinese market, which is, in a legal way. And so I know that you guys are always looking for ways to provide global distribution, and follow the guidelines, and make sure that we're doing it, legally and ethically, so that that it doesn't put the company in any kind of trouble.
Yeah, that's correct, Cindy. As we moved into what we call an e-commerce model, it just means electronic commerce. It stands for electronic commerce. So an e-commerce model simply yields for us as an organization with a license to operate in Hong Kong, to leverage the political relationships between China and Hong Kong, to import product into the country and be able to facilitate for associates to build in Hong Kong, who are building in Hong Kong, to get product into China. So there's a big demand for our product in China. There's big consumption within the country. And as we sit through some of these strategic meetings, the goal is, how can we get the product to more people easier? That's the goal. And yeah, this is yet another initiative that's helped us get closer to that goal.
And is it true that once we figure out the whole e-commerce, how that works, that it could open doorways to other markets that we're not currently open in, right? Even if it's just from a consumer standpoint, right? Yeah.
We operate already through an NFR model, which stands for not for resale. So an NFR model means that the product may not be registered in that country, but it can still ship from a US company, as an example, leveraging our North America reference. It can ship the product into a country like Mexico, where perhaps they don't have self-performance registered or approved yet. There can be ways to get the product. So the goal is to be able to leverage as much of that as possible, NFR. And the other one is, if there's success around e-commerce and building the e-commerce platform, why not expand it to markets where potentially there might be some restrictions or challenges in getting licenses or the product into the country, and doing it that way. And as you mentioned earlier, the fact of the matter is that there are certain markets in certain countries that have some restrictions around network marketing companies. And so as we navigate through that, it's a desire to want to make sure that we move as quickly as possible, but always in a compliant manner.
So why do some of these countries, why do they have restrictions against network marketing companies? What have companies done in the past to cause countries to have those restrictions?
Yeah, I think anybody on the call and anybody who's had experience can attest to the fact that at times there's been organizations that haven't had the proper infrastructure for business, for the legitimacy of businesses. There's a threshold, they call it the 5-year mark, which by that time, most organizations tend to fail. It's very typical, very common for an organization to start showcasing a lot of the infrastructure damage around that mark. The same thing happens with mergers and acquisitions. So it's kind of that 5-year mark where you start to see some challenges from a legal and a regulatory perspective. So what's given some of these companies a bad reputation has been the inability to establish a strong foundation. I mean, we're at 12 years here in the US and in some of these regions. So the legitimacy, it was part of my job in the treasury role as the senior director of treasury to provide that legitimacy to bank institutions and say, hey, we're the real deal. Here's our financials. Here's how we run and operate our business. And they'd conduct their audit and then they would support us. So it's a very, very long, tedious process. But, here at ASEA, the fact that we continue to see expansion and growth is always a sign that we are doing things the right way.
Yeah, I was always so impressed that ASEA runs audit-ready books. Just so if that's so impressive to me that you guys are so organized that if there was an audit to be conducted, that you're ready right then because you're prepared that way.
Yeah, even though we are not public, we do operate and try to manage our books as though we were. So yeah, we do the very best we can to make sure that everything's in line. So good catch there.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure that the people running the company knew what they were doing, just for the exact reasons that you were saying, because there's so many companies that don't. And so it's so nice to have such a strong corporate backbone, behind this whole endeavor. So anyway, we're coming down to the bottom of the half hour. And I mean, we could talk to you for hours. There's so many things that we'd like to know about you and where you see the whole organization going. But just give us a peek into what you see in the next, year, 3 years, 5 years. Talk a little bit about the direction of the company and how that's going to open up opportunities for even more people.
Yeah, so the idea and the vision I have as I come into this role, one of the things that I've always been a strong advocate of is the collaboration component. So you're going to hear that a lot more. I know Tyler has been reiterating and mentioning the collaboration effort, but we're really this is where the rubber meets the road. So when we talk about collaboration, is making sure that there is a true partnership between our field and our internal team. And when I say true partnership, it doesn't discount the fact that it's already existed. It just means that we also execute collectively. So the efforts from one side are also balanced on the other. And so what it does for our leadership and our associate base, it's going to provide some clarity and sometimes an understanding as we do things. These sort of conversations where we're talking about what it means to do e-commerce, the effort it takes, might help somebody understand, man, it's not perfect, but I understand why. And so the vision over the next year, as the first point of reference, is to really make sure that we're all dialed in with our understanding and we position the proper tools for our leaders and those that are developing, right? Our new D300s, D700s, and bronzes, that they understand not only the company culture, the products that we have available, a thorough understanding of the products, but also get a very, very strong sense of what the company is doing as it moves forward. So we talk about North America, ensuring that everybody's in line to say, okay, I get where the company is going and why they're doing this. Here's the reason they're launching this product. And here's how it supplements some of these things. One of the things that for me is critical is I want to take down sort of the curtain for people to be able to see everything that's been going on. Because what's been going on behind the scene has been an incredible effort that has been going on for the last 12 years that I've been a part of the organization. And so my goal is to be able to provide that clarity, that transparency to our field, because the group of people that's working at the corporate office, it's a very, very knowledgeable and reputable group that I think is time for a lot of people to be able to leverage that, not only as a resource, but also as a tool for them to continue to build their business.
Yeah, well, I know that people are so impressed when they go to a national convention, international convention, or they come to a fly-in and they, they meet the players up close and personal. It just seals the deal. I mean, when Bo and I started building our business, that's what we did, is we knew that if we got somebody that was seriously looking at the business in front of the corporate players, it was a slam dunk. I mean, if they did not see it then, they weren't going to see it. So that was a great way to show them, hey, I mean, and it was like you said, very transparent. Here's what we've got. If you can't see the opportunity here, then, I guess the conversation is over, because it's very obvious to me, right?
That's exactly right. And that's a good way to operate. Once we have a very high standard of performance that we have not let down from or gotten away from. I think sometimes some of the conversations have gotten lost in translation a little bit, the communication and clarity. And so that's the vision, that's the goal, to be able to bring that clarity to our field and to our team.
Excellent. Well, Frank, you're a fascinating guy. We're so glad that you're in front rather than in behind. I'm sure that all the work that you've put in over the past 12 years will continue, but seeing your face and seeing you at some of our impact tour events that are coming up. And I don't know if you want to give a plug for that real quick before we wrap it up today.
Yeah, I would love to. So anybody, any active or any current associates that are on the call, if you log into your virtual office, you will see a list of the 3 impact tours that we will be hosting in Spokane, in North Carolina, and in Texas. So please join us for an event. I will be there live. We will have our entire sales team there live, along with some of the additional executive members from the corporate office. And it's really an opportunity for us to really make an impact. The title and the meaning behind it is that it's time for us to make an impact, and we really want to drive going into 2023 with this sort of momentum. So please, if you have the ability, join us at one of the events. We'd love to have you there.
Fantastic. Well, Frank, thanks so much. I know you've got a family waiting for you, and we want to make sure that you spend some time with them tonight too. So thanks for making time for us. Really appreciate it and really look forward to working with you.
Cindy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. This has been so fun. I'm
Yes.
happy to do this anytime. Thank you. It's great
Thanks
to see
so-
you again.
Absolutely. Great to see you again. Thanks so much, Frank.
Take care. Thank you.
Good night.